Hi there. I'm going to talk about Guilds of London. It's an unpublished, as yet, unpublished game from Tony Boydell of Snowdonia and Ivor the Engine and other games. We love Snowdonia. And I'll keep my final thoughts for this game at the end of a playthrough. What we're going to do, we're going to have a look in this prototype box with pretty much finished artwork, but some things might change slightly. Certainly the box art may change. This is just something I've made up. But the artwork should be pretty true to what it's going to be. But the component wise is just stuff I've crafted myself from files. So the finished product, when it is published, the game will be much more superior. So let's have a look in the box what we got. So we've got a score tracker here. Lovely artwork, I have to say, and this is for the 3 and 4 player side. On the back is the one we're going to... Sorry, this is for the 3 and 4 player side, and this means that 5 tiles get added in a 4 player game, 6 tiles are going to get added, and they're going to be triggered on the greyed out areas. On this side, the greyed out areas, this is going to be a tile resolution to see if anybody controls a guild, and here exactly the same, but we also score for the plantation as well. So this is for a 2-player game. So I'll place the scoreboard there. Now on this piece here is going to go these mayoral rewards cards, if I can get into the pack here. And these mayoral reward cards, these give you end game bonuses. So these are things that you're going to keep hidden from the other players. They may guess what you're aiming for, but there's such a lot of them. They're really neat, and for instance this one will give you 1 victory point at the end game for every 3 adjacent guilds that you control. These are master liverymen. This one, for instance, will give you 2 victory points for every orange guild with the compass icon that you controlled. This one will give you 6 victory points if you don't have a cube on the plantation tile. So if you don't have a cube, a liveryman cube on the plantation tile at game end, you will score 6 victory points. So there's lots of different things to go for game end, and it's hidden objectives, and you can get more of these throughout the game. You start with 1 and you can get more, so that's pretty neat in itself. The plantation tile I've just been talking of, we set it on here for a 2-player game. There's a 3 to 4 player game. There's actually a tile goes next to it for that. We're going to concentrate on the 2-player game, and what this shows us, this is where the cubes will come into the actual game board itself, and we get start off with 4 cubes per player. Looking into the box here, we have got a ton of these tiles. These are the side they start on. They're beautiful artwork as well. You'll get to really love these tiles as you play the game, because everyone's a little battle that you fight over, and that you want to gain control over. When you gain control of a tile, it gets flipped and your cube gets put onto the guild to show that you control that guild, and it also counts for in-game scoring as well. So I've got tons of these, and even though in the 2-player game we have a fixed setup for a 2-player game, the board stays as a 5x5 grid. The actual, apart from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles, including this one, everything else is random to make up that 5x5 grid, but it stays fixed for the game. In the 3 and 4 player game, there's a growth phase where tiles come out, but in the 2-player game it's different. So but there is tons of these that will not get used, so that creates a lot of randomness. You will get different mayoral reward cards, that creates randomness. You will get lots of these action cards throughout the game. You start off with a hand of 6. It can be modified with different stuff to make it a larger hand. For instance, if you control the university and stuff. So each game is going to be drastically different. We've got the player colours here. Now the standard fare, I'm pretty sure, in player colours for the game is going to be green, yellow, blue and red, which I think are the best colour-friendly, colour-blind friendly colours. We've just got, we've got a yellow here, but we've actually got a pink, an orange and a purple, because these are the colours that we enjoy playing with. So what we'll do now, we'll just set up the game. So I've got my makeshift rules here. And what we're looking at is for 2-player. So the setup here is the guild hall first, with showing the 2-player. That is going to be the centre of our board. And then we have the special tiles. Now the special tiles are quite easy to recognise. There's these 4 that will always be used in a 2-player game because they have 4 guilds across the top. Now there's 5 different guilds in the game, but each of the specials has 4 of those 5. Some tiles in the game will have 2 guilds on the top, like this one here. A lot of them will just have the 1 guild, but the specials have got 4. And we set this up so we have the University of London at the top of the guild hall here. We have the Church of St. Lawrence to the right here. We have the Lord Mayor's Parade here, and we have Company Hall here. And then we build up this now with a random out the tiles. We'll just pick them randomly and make the 5x5 grid round the board. So as you can see, a lot of tiles not used, which adds that lovely randomness. Now what we're going to do now is set up the board with 2nd place rewards, these tokens, and these are for whoever gets 2nd place on a tile. And all these little tokens here, these will of course be nice punch board tokens, but I've just stickered some excess discs that I had, and we'll just turn these over to the back side there, showing the 2nd. I think they're nearly all done, and then swizzle them up a bit. There we go. And these get placed on the board randomly. So I don't know what's on there, but we'll start top and just come along, and there we go. And that is how we're going to score tiles as well, from the top left hand corner coming along each row. So there we go. Put these on here. So even in this setup, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2nd places that have not been used. So they're going to go in there. Now we've got a little bag here, and in a 2-player game there is 4 neutral liveryman cubes. These are quite a bit larger than the cubes that we're going to play with in the setup that I've done. We just use what we got. There's a little compass disc that is used in the 3 and 4 player game for setting the growth phase around the board. We're not going to be using that, we'll just put that off to one side. The 4 liveryman cubes will go on this board here. They're the neutrals, very, very powerful. The beadle, he's going to start on the lowest tile that's out on the board, and I'm looking, I've seen number 2. Is number 1 there? Yes, Donna just spotted number 1 is here. So the beadle, he is going to start there. Now these purple numbers, which is 1 to 12 I believe, I think it's up to 12, they're pretty much the most important and powerful tiles. I mean, that one, number 1, gives you 7 victory points for 1st place. Oh wow, and 7 victory points for 2nd place, because you've got the 2nd place one that at random is the highest number of victory points, which is 4, and also it's +3, so brilliant. But the one that gets 7 victory points there is also going to be able to look at 5, the top 5 mayor reward cards, and pick one of them. That's, you know, that's quite a nice thing. And they're going to gain control of that tile. So we've set that up. So it's 2 liveryman cubes per player. So these aren't going to get used. They can go back in the box. We just got a round disc marker here. We'll start that onto number 1. Donna's decided she's going to be purple. So let's open up the little bag here. Now her disc for the score chart's going to go there, and 4 of the cubes are going to start on the guild hall in the centre. A disc will go over here because that's where she's going to sit to show that's her playing area, and the rest of the cubes she's going to have to bring them into play so they can stay in the tray here. My cubes, the orange ones, I shall just get them out now. Exactly the same as with the purple, so I'll put my orange disc here to show that's my playing area. I'll put my other orange disc ready there on the score track, and 4 cubes here, and the rest here in the tray that I've got to get into play. The plantation tile, we can have the Virginia plantation, or we can have the Ulster plantation. So the plantation tile, we can either have the Virginia plantation, where if you win this plantation tile by having more cubes than your opponent, more liverymen on it than your opponent, your first place will get 7 victory points, and 2 of your cubes will go back to the supply, to your liverymen, and second place will earn 3 victory points, and 1 of their cubes will go back to the supply. On the other side, the Ulster plantation, first place will get to look at 3 male reward cards and get to keep 1, and second place will get the 3 victory points. And again, two liveryman cubes for first place go back to the supply, and 1 for second place. So I think we'll play the Ulster plantation. So we'll shove that one there. We've got the game board, as you can see, it's just lovely game board. And what we'll do, so we'll just show, so each tile has the guild, what guild colours what guilds they are. So we've got green here and we've got yellow. So green with the cross, yellow with the sickle, or scythe, or whatever you want to call it. If you gain control of this tile, the way to gain control it would be to have any amount of liverymen to match to match that at the top or exceeding it. So it needs 4 on this tile, and that can be a combination of your cubes, your liveryman cubes, and your opponents. Also it could be the beadle as well. So you could have 2 of your own, 1 of an opponent's, and the beadle, and that tile will get resolved when we come to the laurel coming round the scores. So it's every second round. So that would then resolve the tile. So if we came to it and there was 4, minimum of 4, and the beadle can be included, first place would get 4 victory points plus an action card, and they get another one of their liveryman cubes from the supply onto the guild hall. Second place would get this second place disc with 2 victory points plus a neutral cube. Now what a neutral can do, very powerful. If you had a couple of these neutrals in your supply here, and this was the situation, if Donna had them 2 there and we were here and I had 2 of my orange cubes, there was the beadle, let's say for instance, on here, and there was 1 of Donna's cubes on here, and it's her turn, and we're resolving this tile. We've gone through and we see, well, there's 4 on here, 1, 2, 3, 4, matches the 4 at the top, so the tile is going to get resolved. Donna decides to put 2 neutrals on here, bomb me out completely, and she will score first place on this tile and nobody will get second place because she had these neutrals. So they're very, very powerful, and that's how the neutrals work. And if I had neutrals, if I only had 1 neutral, I could bomb her out and that tile just would not get resolved. These are very powerful, and you use them sparingly and use them when you need to. It's just very, very neat, very clever mechanic. Even just the threat of having those is awesome. And that's how tiles get resolved. Now on you go, you will have these action cards, and you have a hand of 6 action cards and a maximum, you get dealt 6 and a maximum hand of 7 cards, unless there's a modifier that allows you to have more. Now on these cards you can play them in a few different ways. So we look at this first card. Right, you can just put that card down, doesn't matter what it says on it, it may as well be blank for all you care. You can just put that down and you can bring one of your cubes into play onto the guild hall. That's one action you can do. The other action is you can move one of these from the guild hall onto whatever guild it shows here. So for this one I can move it to the orange compass icon anywhere, so that would let me move it to there, on here, the special, because that icon is there, on here, here, and so forth here. So there's many positions that just by playing that card I could move it from a liveryman from there to one of these. But only one action with the card. So I can play it to bring another cube out, another liveryman out, or I can play it to move a cube from the guild hall to that guild. Now, the third thing I can do with the card, I can actually do the action here that it depicts. Now, we've printed off some lovely cheat sheets here, laminated, with what they do. And that's the only thing, is that you'll soon learn the icons. And in fact, we played this game quite a bit. And the last time I played it, I must have looked at this sheet 3 times the entire game. So you soon get to know what these icons mean. So this card, actually there's a cost, and if you look on the back, every single card has a coin on it. It's so clever. So out my hand I would actually have to flip a card onto its back like that, or onto its, so that's showing. There's the coin I'm paying to use this card. Now I can use this card, and this lets me move. So what it means is, every time I move a liveryman cube this turn, I can move 2 instead. So it's pretty powerful. This one, again, would cost me 1 card in my hand as a coin to pay for it. And then I can either get 4 of my cubes out, or 2 neutral cubes, assuming there's 2 available. And assuming there's 4 of my cubes available here. We've never run out of them yet, have we? You know, but you get so many to play. A lot of cards do not have a cost. For instance, this is 0. Those are 1, 0, 0, 0. So we're looking at the cost there. This one will allow you to move the beetle to any other guild with the green guild with the cross on. So you could go like so. You would do it strategically, either to mess up the other player or for an advantage for yourself. And you can get another one of your cubes out, or a neutral. So the cards let you do lots of wonderful, powerful things. And on the card itself, so it shows you what the cost is, the card number, and also how many times the card's repeated in the deck. This one's repeated twice. This one's twice, this one's 3 times. So all the information's there. Super cool, brilliant. Action cards are what are going to drive the game. We start out with 6, like I say, and we have a hand limit of 7. And on your go, you can play your entire hand and of 7 cards if you wish. You can keep playing them, getting liverymen out, manoeuvring liverymen around the board, and turn them over to pay for actions on cards. Or you could just play a couple of cards. If you play your cards, any cards on your go, at the end you will draw another 2 cards. If you pass, and this does happen a few times in a game, if you pass, you draw 4 cards. And then you can save up for a good combo on the next go. and really wallop your opponent, which is super fun. So that's the cards. So as the rounds go on this track, the first round we'll have 6 cards each, and we'll play the cards and draw another 2 cards, assuming that we're going to play cards that go, and then we'll move on to round 2. We'll do exactly the same. We'll get liveryman cubes around the board, try and get into positions to score tiles, and on the second round, every second round in a 2-player game, with this grey laurel round the scoring, will mean that we're going to check if any of the conditions are met for controlling the guild, which is basically including the beadle if he's on the tile, that it matches the number. It could be 3 cubes or 2 cubes and a beadle, and 4 and vice versa, whatever the number says. Then we're going to have a round with no scoring tiles, and then we're going to have a round with scoring tiles and scoring the plantation. Now, to get cubes onto the plantation, that will be done through action cards. And action cards, we play action cards, or even on some of the guilds, I believe, if I remember right, we played quite a lot of games of this now, they will let you put cubes onto the plantation. And the plantation will get scored in exactly the same way, only there is no minimum cubes. So if you have 1 cube on there, nobody else has got a cube on there, you will score first place. And that is it. I think all we need to do now is set up for playing the game. So we'll just shuffle this deck here. Shuffle a few more cards into it. 2 piles of 6. We've got our starting cards. So there's Donna's 6 cards. Here's my 6. Then what we get is, I'll shuffle the male reward cards. We get 3 each, and we have to discard 2, so we get to pick 1. So we'll get 3 of those each. We'll look at those in a minute and discard 1, and then we'll be ready to play. So I think we'll end this video here because it's gone on for long enough, and the next video I upload will be the start of gameplay, and we'll get through a few rounds of play, and then we'll upload another video, and maybe that will get us to the end of the game. It's a real fun game, so I hope you come back and watch it get played in real time. I'd just like to put a shout out as well to David of Connect More, who did a video of Guilds of London. He's done an excellent run through. I think he's done is it for a 3-player game? I did watch it. An awesome video. So that's one to watch as well for the rules. I think Rado did a very early prototype in Essen, I think, and with Tony Boydell at the table. And talking to Tony, I know he'll look in on this video, and I know he loves Agricola. And only yesterday we finished off putting little googly eyes on all our little guys here. So I think he's going to enjoy that. They look awesome, don't they? Didn't take too long to do. That was prompted by a user, Steph, on Board Game Geek, that I saw a picture that she'd uploaded. So anyway, that is Guilds of London, back on track. We're ready to play, so join us for the next video. Thanks for watching.